Coming up on this edition of the Newsfeed, local police are not giving out any noise ordinances for the upcoming spring game, making it hard to tailgate for it. Plus, a look into the grant the VT Drone Park received a year ago and where the program is a year later. And are you a distracted driver? What classifies becoming a distracted driver in today's world? Those stories and more are just ahead. Hello, and thanks for joining us on this edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Tatiana Walker. Virginia Tech's spring game falls on the same day as the anniversary of the shooting that occurred 15 years ago. This has caused Virginia Tech and the Blacksburg Police to release statements that they will not be allowing certain traditions that we usually have for the spring game. Newsfeed reporter Connor Morris joins us with more on this story. Connor?
Thanks, Tatiana. I'm here at Lane Stadium where the spring game will take place in a little over a week. Normally, Hokies tailgate for this event and walk over the stadium to cheer on the football team. This year's plans will be a little bit different. Recently, the Blacksburg Police Department has decided to not approve any noise ordinances for April 16th. This is a big deal because April 16th is the spring game and noise ordinances are required to tailgate. These ordinances are not being approved because the spring game falls on the same day as Virginia Tech shooting in 2007. In an interview with retired Captain Nathan Odell, he said,
"So what they're not going to allow, they're not going to provide permits for folks to have sound amplifying equipment over in that area before the spring football game. They're wanting to keep it low key and quiet for respect and to honor from the event from April 16th.
As Captain Odell stated, there will be areas, much like here on Center Street, that will not be approved for noise ordinances on April 16th. This is to allow for people to pay their respects to the 2007 Virginia Tech shooting and limit tailgating for the spring game. Students who live in the area are outraged about this decision. They were expecting a usual tailgate since last year's spring game was canceled because of COVID. Speaking with Jack Hahn, a resident of Center Street, he said,
"I'm really upset about it. I've lived on Center Street for 2 years now, and I haven't gotten to experience a spring game tailgate. So, yeah, it really sucks."
Fans of Virginia Tech football will have to celebrate from home this year and understand they will not be tailgating in honor of the lives lost in 2007. No matter what your plan is for April 16th, there will be events for you to attend here at Virginia Tech. To find out more about these events, you can check out Virginia Tech's website. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Connor Morris. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Connor. Last year, a grant program was put in place for the Virginia Tech Drone Department. So where is the program now a year later? The drone park supports students pursuing a remote pilot certificate and reimburses them the $175 test fee to receive their certificate. The program was put in place because the certificate is required by FAA regulations for all drone flights other than ones for recreation purposes. But where is the program now? Sarah Macy, in charge of drone park operations and the drone park training manager, says the program has been a success.
Certified is really kind of the first step. From there, we help with flight training. They can, after they get their certification, they can rent drones from the library also, and even develop small research projects, work with the professor.
Program continues to support those students in all ways possible. The Drone Park Grant Program has a very specific group of students who take interest in receiving the remote pilot certificate. So far, Virginia Tech has helped 20 students go through the program. Sarah Macy says she's very happy with the number, and those 20 students now have an advantage in the workforce compared to other new graduates. The first week of April is National Wildlife Week in the United States. Blacksburg and the surrounding areas are home to many different types of wildlife that roam around the NRV and Southwest Virginia. Places like Duck Pond, Heritage Park, and the New River offer large numbers of wildlife for people to see. But in the wilderness, people should always be careful to watch where they are taking their next step. Heritage Park, located just off Glade Road in Blacksburg, is home to many types of wildlife. Touring around places like Heritage Park in the NRV, you might stumble upon many types of animals. Various birds, fish, turtles, and other small animals can be found within the park in different areas. On rare occasion, people might people may run into unsafe animal species like snakes, bears, and coyotes that also live in the same wilderness. Virginia Tech Wildlife Conservation student Nathan Ferguson suggested to keep a distance from animals deemed unsafe.
99% of the time, the animal is going to be just as afraid of you as you are could be of it. Just keeping your distance is the best thing to do. Observe wildlife from that distance and be able to enjoy it.
Also suggested to pay attention to details in the wilderness. Many small animals go unnoticed but have a large impact on the environment around them. Just ahead on the newsfeed, Blacksburg Books recently opened in 2020. We look into how they are staying involved in the community. And April is the start of Distracted Driving Awareness Month. What people can do to avoid distracted driving, that story and more after this break. Welcome back to the newsfeed. I'm Tatiana Walker. With the start of April also comes the start of Distracted Driving Awareness Month. This month begins in lieu of a fatal car accident which took the Virginia Tech class of 2024 student's life. With more on the accident and Distracted Driving Awareness Month, here's newsfeed reporter Matthew Scopa.
On March 27th, Virginia Tech class of 2024 student Amber Rainsberger tragically passed away in a car accident. It is believed that the accident occurred as a result of distracted driving. I spoke with the former director of the Virginia Tech Transport Institute, Tom Dingus, on the definition of distracted driving.
Well, distracted driving in the broadest sense is when you are operating a vehicle but you're not paying attention to the primary task of driving completely.
Examples of distracted driving include looking at your phone, changing the radio station, and talking to a passenger.
So every time I drive, for example, I just put my phone away. It's not anywhere close to me. It's not tempting.
Research scientist at the Virginia Tech Transport Institute, Justin Owens, gave some advice about distracted driving.
You know, what I would say if I only had a brief moment to talk to somebody is that whatever it is that you want to do on your phone, whether it's sending a text or making a call or changing a music track, it's just not important enough to risk a crash or risk somebody's life.
It's estimated that distracted driving kills at least 3,000 people a year and can at least double the risk of a crash while driving. If you'd like to read more about distracted driving, you can read Dingus's book, Survive the Drive, which covers distracted driving prevention. Reporting from the newsfeed, this is Matt Scopa.
VTTI, also known as Virginia Tech Transportation Institute, is leading major research to help self-driving vehicles become safer. The purpose of the research is to help manufacturers to figure out what causes accidents within a city and how they can develop technologies to avoid these types of accidents. The tool is called the Operational Design Domain and is an online-based database that helps answer questions about weather patterns, roadways, and the causes of fatal crashes. Along with this information, it even helps to create a safe route that the automated car would follow within the city. The goal of the research is to help automated vehicle manufacturers to identify the best cities and routes to roll out self-driving cars. Gibran Ali, VTTI Senior Research Associate, says,
if you see like automated vehicle systems or automated driving systems, ADS, they have a potential to save a lot of lives because, you know, if implemented correctly and if proven to be safer than human drivers, they can really improve safety. So,
has about 30 major U.S. cities, including Arlington, Virginia. VTTI is currently working on bringing more information to the project. Blacksburg Books, the first ever independent used bookstore in Blacksburg, opened its doors amidst the pandemic. While the store opened during some hard times, the store reaches out to the community members and stays connected to other businesses around the area. Newsfeed reporter Autumn Zipfel with more on this story.
Blacksburg Books, located on Main Street, is one of the first ever independent new and used bookstores in Blacksburg, Virginia. While there were some hardships opening this store during the pandemic, with a little community outreach, this shop has managed to build relationships within the community. This bookshop has community-based projects like the Poetry Project, local author signings, and a monthly book club that helps connect people after being locked up in quarantine for so long. Blacksburg Books also works with the community around them, like Blue Ridge Axe Throwing, Virginia Tech, and the Appalachia, to bring the community around them together and build professional relationships with people right here on Main Street. Kyle Gerner, patron at the Blue Ridge Axe Throwing and Blacksburg Books Community Fair, elaborated on how events like these build strong community ties.
I think it's a nice way to support local businesses and, give them some exposure. Having it at the axe throwing place gives people, something else to do while they're there. It kind of draws them in more.
Ellen Woodall, the manager of Blacksburg Books, went in depth on how the location of the store on Main Street is vital to connecting with the community.
We want downtown to be awesome and full of great independent businesses. So we think the more we can work together with all of those businesses, that it just makes everybody stronger.
Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Autumn Zipfel.
That will wrap up this edition of the Newsfeed. If you have a story idea for the Newsfeed, let us know. Send us an email at thenewsfeednrv@gmail.com. And as always, you can also connect with the Newsfeed on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching. I'm Tatiana Walker.